As already seen, Excel provides functions such as COUNTIF and SUMIF, which allow you to specify conditions for counting or adding up certain values. For example, it is possible to sum up all the sales made by the seller Paul, but it would not be possible to enter more than one condition. In fact, it would not be possible to know all the sales made by the seller Paul on the English territory and also in France. For this type of requirement, Excel provides database functions. With these, it is possible to insert directly into the sheet a list of criteria so that a sum, an average, a count, or the minimum and maximum functions are performed. Furthermore, through the database functions, the various criteria can be related to the Boolean operators AND and OR. With the AND operator, it is indicated to the computer that the required conditions must all coexist. With the OR operator, it is indicated that it is sufficient that only one of the required conditions occurs. For example, if you want all Paul's sales in Liverpool to be counted, the conditions Paul and Liverpool must be in AND. Only a sale that meets both conditions will be counted, made by Paul, performed in Liverpool. If, on the other hand, you want to count all of Paul's sales and all of John's sales, the conditions have to be in OR. Therefore, all the sales in which the term Paul occurs and all the sales in which the term John occurs will be counted, since it would not be possible to have such conditions in AND. If a sale was made by Paul, it cannot have been made by John at the same time. All DB functions have the same arguments. Take for example DSUM. The syntax is equals DSUM, open parenthesis, database, comma, field, comma, criteria, close parenthesis. By database, we mean the range of cells that constitute the database on which to carry out operations. It is essential that the first cell of each column contains the header, as it is necessary to perform the various filtering operations. By field, we mean the column that must be used for the execution of the formulas. To do this, you can directly indicate the column label, either by entering the cell coordinates or the string in quotation marks, for example C1 or sale, or the progressive number of the column starting from the first, for example 3. By criteria, we mean the range of cells which can also be contained in the same sheet in which the conditions that are required are indicated. The criteria range must necessarily include column labels and, underneath, the conditions required for that column. If we want to perform a DSUM of all the sales made by Paul in Liverpool, it would be enough to indicate the criteria seller, Paul, and city, Liverpool, in a separate table, and then set the function in this way: equals DSUM, open parenthesis, A1, semicolon C8, comma, inverted commas, sale, inverted commas, comma, E2, semicolon, F3, close parenthesis. The database is A1 semicolon C8, which contains all the sales. The field is sale. In this case, it can also be expressed as C1, the cell coordinates, or 3, since it is the third column from the left, and the conditions are in E2 semicolon F3. It is important that the condition column headers match the column headers of the database perfectly. Upon carrying out the function, we would have as a result 57, which is the sum of the two sales made by Paul in Liverpool, €12 and €45. With the DAVERAGE function, we can perform an average of the conditions identified according to our criteria. For example, if we want an average of the revenues from the sales made by Paul and John, therefore in OR, the table of conditions will be indicated in this way, and the function will be expressed as equals DAVERAGE, open parenthesis, A1 semicolon C8, comma, inverted commas, sale, inverted commas, comma, E2 semicolon E4 close parenthesis. We have indicated as database A1 semicolon C8 and requested to perform the average of the sale column according to the conditions in E2 semicolon E4. This time, the condition column is 1 and has two values, one below the other. This means that the values will be searched for in OR so that the average of the sales in which Paul appears and those in which John appears will be calculated. The result will be 28.3333, which is precisely the average of all sales made by the two sellers, 23 plus 12 plus 35 plus 43 plus 12 plus 45 divided by 6. Then there is the DCOUNT functions, which are DCOUNT and DCOUNTA. The first will count the cells that contain numbers, while the second will count any cell that contains a value. And naturally, both will limit themselves to those cells that meet the requirements indicated in the conditions table. For example, if we want to count how many sales made by Paul are greater than €20, we can indicate the conditions and insert the function equals DCOUNT, open parenthesis, A1 semicolon C8, comma, inverted commas, sale, inverted commas, comma, E2 semicolon F3 close parenthesis. In cell F3, we have indicated greater than 20. It is in fact possible to use comparison operators such as greater, lesser, equal, but also greater equal or lesser equal, expressing them simply as less than or equal or greater than or equal. For example, you may ask Excel to count all values other than 35 among Paul's sales. In that case, you can indicate less than or greater than 35, which stands for other than 35. It should be noted that in this case, it is irrelevant whether you use DCOUNT or DCOUNTA. The cells counted will still be the same, since all the cells in the sales column include numbers, which are counted both by count and counta. Finally, there are the functions DMAX and DMIN. In this case, the syntax is identical, and the maximum or minimum value among those that satisfy the indicated condition will be reported. To get the highest value among Paul's sales, simply indicate the seller Paul condition in the table and enter the formula equals DMAX, open parenthesis, A1 semicolon C8, comma, inverted commas, sale, inverted commas, comma, E2 semicolon E3, close parenthesis. The result will be 45, which is actually the highest sale among those made by Paul. The same thing applies to the lowest sale by using DMIN equals DMIN, open parenthesis, A1 semicolon C8, comma, inverted commas, sale, inverted commas, comma, E2 semicolon E3 close parenthesis. In that case, the result will be 12, which is the value of the lowest sale.